Hi, I'd like to present today on an article written by Donald Parker, Douglas Boyle, and Brian W. Carpenter. On the article is titled "Do Dark Personalities Lurk in Your Company?" And they pursue a discussion on the pervasiveness of fraud and how personality traits can affect that. So they start out by talking about the fraud triangle, which you may be aware. The fraud triangle consists of opportunity to commit fraud, incentive or pressure, often financial, and rationalization. And those three components are almost always there when fraud is committed. And the authors discuss how businesses often focus on opportunity, the opportunity portion of the fraud triangle, and trying to control and prevent fraud within their organization. And one of the reasons they focus on this is it's seen as the most controllable, right? Incentive and financial pressure can be controlled to some extent, but it's also, there are aspects of that are just outside the control of a company. As an example, a large medical bill or something could create pressure or incentive to commit fraud, where that's outside the control of the company. The aspect that's most outside the control of the company is rationalization, because it can be very difficult to effectively analyze your employees and determine if they're rationalizing. And this is actually the component that this article focuses on most. And it discusses how companies should take into account personality traits in considering how their internal controls are structured and trying to prevent fraud. So they call it the dark triad of personality characteristics, and they highlight three: the Machiavellian personality, narcissism, and psychopathy. And the Machiavellian tends to have like a wheeler-dealer attitude. They tend to manipulate others to get what they want and don't feel remorse or anything. They often enjoy manipulating others to get what they want. The narcissistic personality or narcissism has a strong ego and tend to focus on self-enhancement, where psychopathy shares characteristics of Machiavellian and narcissism. However, they tend to have low anxiety and lack remorse, and they're risk takers. So, in considering how these personality types can affect your internal controls, there are some red flags to be aware of that we've seen in leaders from high-profile fraud cases like WorldCom and Enron. Some of those red flags include control issues, people being defensive, suspicious, having a wheeler-dealer type attitude, and being unwilling to share duties. And so it's important as we consider this to look inward, and if you recognize some of these character traits in yourself, to try to combat them, right? Consider taking a personality test to see where you're at. And some things you can do is, focus on spending time around leaders that have personality traits that can balance out, your personality traits. And, seek advice and perspectives from other colleagues and trusted individuals, and just be self-aware. And finally, the authors say that these personality traits should not be used as a tool to target individuals in your company, but rather something to help you structure your internal controls, and realize that a dark personality trait isn't necessarily an indicator of fraud. I hope you found this helpful, and reach out with any questions. Thanks. Bye.